Hi everyone, I've just come to show you a project I made last night. I bought this Betty Boop calendar a few years ago, and I bought it after Christmas with the intention of making an album with it. I was in my study the other day and I found this on the shelf which I'd forgotten all about, so I brought it out and I made it into an album. Excuse me. What I did, obviously there's 12 months of the year, and then the packaging of the calendar, it had a massive image on the front, so that gave me 13 images of Betty Boop. And what I did, I tore all the pages out, so I was left with a jagged edge, so I trimmed it off and then I was left with a page like this. And I'll just show you the actual page. So after I trimmed the top jagged bit that that it was attached to the spring, and then here was the little bit of calendar, and that was the only waste that I had from the calendar. I cut these down so I got a large image, and I rounded the corners off, and then the notes, let me show you this. Obviously this embellishment wasn't on it. The notes started there, but I wanted a larger journal. These are going to be journal tags, so I wanted a larger journal tag than there, so I went right up. So it doesn't matter that a bit of this car's on it. It doesn't matter. And then I cut all the months out nice and neat. But I'm not going to use any of these months in this project, but I will be using them in another project. So as I say, only a tiny bit of each page got binned. So it was a real a good value. So as I say, I've got 13 large images of Betty Boop. And I've got 12 of these which I've made into journal tags. On the back I've stamped journal, so you can get quite a bit written there and quite a bit written there, and it says notes. And then I've just come along and I've got these and I've tried to match these are felt adhesive flowers, and I've tried to match the colour of the flower with the colour of the image. And then in the centre I've put some yellow stickles because there's yellow in the background. And then just to give it a bit of bling, I've gone all around the tip of each petal, if you like, with silver stickles. And on some of these I used liquid pearls. So either stickles or liquid pearls are used. And I put one of these on every journal card. Also, let me show you all the images, although they're all very small. Most of the colours in this calendar are blues and greens. There's a lot of blues and greens. So what I've done, I've chose paper, all blues and greens. And I've chose, because this is all like an evening gown, you can't really see it on this, so I'm going to show you the main picture in a minute. For that page I used like a white wedding page for it, but the reverse of it for the next page was either green or blue. Anyway, so I chose green or blue. I chose all 12 by 12 papers, green and blue. Let me just pop this tag back in the right page. Couple of seconds, please. Right. I got this is not a well-known paper line. It's a no-name, but a very good brand. The quality is fantastic, and it's double-sided paper. So I got 6 green and or blue pages, and I cut them down to 9x9. So this is a 9x9 square album. This was for one of the months, this image here. I've cut it out and I've rounded the corners, and then I wanted a deep red cardstock and I couldn't find any to hand, so I just mounted it on some pinky red cardstock. I cut it to size, rounded the corners, and then I stuck this image on top of it, and I've done the same. This here was part of the packaging, the Betty Boop. So I've done the same with that, rounded it and mounted it on the pinky red, rounded the corners, and I think that goes really well. And I've just, on the binding, I've just put some red and white polka dot, which is on a lot of the Betty Boop images. She does have red and white polka dot outfits on. So there's the album, and like all my albums, it has 6 pages, which is 12 sides, and this actually was the packaging, the front of the calendar image, and that's why I've put it on the inside cover there. I had to cut the Betty Boop out of here, so unless I cut it down, and then you wouldn't know, you couldn't see the image. So she's painting on that image, and inside here there were some spare tags because I've put a pocket on the back inside cover, and I've not used a picture on the back, so I had some images left over, which I'll show you what I've done with them when I get to near the back page. So therefore I had some of the journal cards spare, so I put those on in this inside cover. So they're just spare journal cards, and I've stamped journal on the back of each one. And I don't know if that's picking up, but I've actually put gold stickles on the tip of all the petals, and in the centre I've done some jet black stickles, and yeah, if the light shines on that you can see it. So there's 2 spare journal tags which I've popped in here, and then I've made this one. I cut a piece of cardstock, and I've backed it with some paper, green, and I've just stenciled Betty. I was thinking to put Boop there, but I don't think it would have fit. So I've just coloured it in red, and I've put some blue tartan ribbon on that. So they're just some little journal tags that can go in there. So spare journal tags, and goes inside that image. Moving on to this side, I've got a blue image, mainly blue, so I've mounted it on the blue paper. And what I've done, I've left the side of this image open, and I've put the matching journal card in it. I've put a grey flower on, and I've just tipped it all with red stickles and silver in the middle, and stamped it on the back. So here you can actually put spare photographs inside there, or stick them all along and here. And even if you put a giant photo here, it wouldn't matter if it covered the perfume bottles, as long as you can see Betty Boop there. So there's the first 2 pages. Moving on. So I had to freehand cut this because it was the only one of the pages that's got the image landscape, all the rest were portrait. So I've freehand cut it here, and I've got all the image in, and of course because the image was landscape, the matching journal card was as well. So that went like that. So I've cut that down, rounded the corners, popped a lovely blue flower with some yellow and silver stickles. On the back I've put just a note. That tag goes in there. In the image, I've used all the images as pockets, and then giant big photograph, giant big space there for a large photograph. Moving on, as I said, all the backing pages were blue and green except this one, because the image isn't blue and green. She's in like an evening dress, so I backed that onto like a wedding design page, white and grey swirls, but on the next side is either green or blue. When we turn over you'll see that. This is the excuse me, this, I think, oh no, this side, there it is, the flash of the camera. She's at an awards ceremony, probably the Oscars or something. So as I say, the date and the calendar are up here. We don't need those. So I've cut the image and I've left the top open, and I've just put a black to match the gown flower, and I've added stickles, golden black stickles, and I've stamped journal on the back, and that just pops in like that, and plenty of room left over for photographs. Moving on, gorgeous shade of green. So I've done a journal tag which was originally there. I've cut it down, I've stamped journal on the reverse, and I've put a green, and I've used different shades of, oh, this one I used the Liquid Pearls green, and just shimmering a little bit, and some pale green stickles in the centre, and that's your journal tag, and that's the other side, and that just pops in that image there. And of course you could put other things in as well as these journal tags. Plenty of room there for photographs, gorgeous images, glossy coated, really good quality calendars. So that's a good tip I can pass on to you there. If you wait till January, February, March, you can pick up your good calendars. I think this retailed at something like £12, and I probably got it for less than £2. The quality is superb. The pages are very thick, and it's like got the glossy coating over it, so it'll be waterproof and hard wearing. I got the images and the journal cards out of the calendar and the packaging, so you know, not much waste and very economical. Here's the notes, the journal for this one, a grey flower with red and silver stickles on that, and that pops in there. I'll just do you a close up. The images are fantastic, they're lovely. So moving on now, here she's making a kennel for the dog, and that actually goes there. There's the other half of the dog, and I've popped a flower on, red and silver stickles, and stamped journal. Plenty of room for photos all the way down, and that fits in there like so. And love this green. Here she is opening a parcel which is full of puppies, and there's the, because there was lots of yellow, pale green grass, I've added a yellow flower, and mainly to brighten up this dark green, and I've popped liquid pearls and stickles on top of that. And that pops in there. So that's those two pages. And turning over, we've got a blue and red outfit on here, image. So I've used a red with some blue stickles here. Loads of room for photographs to go alongside it, and I've whoops, I couldn't remember where I left the opening. It's at the top, so that leaves loads of room, as I say, for photos. Right, because I didn't use an image on this page or the back page, and because I got an extra image on the front cover of the calendar, I had some images left, so I cut them down to postcard size, and I've rounded the corners, and I've stamped postcards on the back of them. So at the back of this album you actually get 3 postcards, and I'll just show you the images. So, and with the spare journal tags that came with these pages, they're at the front and side cover. So you get 3 postcards as well as the album, and you can use these as little posters or send them to friends. You know, whoever gets the album can send those to friends. So they go in there, and then that's the back and that's the front. So any questions, let me know. That's the 9B9 Betty Boop album. Thanks for watching. Bye.